Hello, CMST 102, and welcome to our assignment. Let me just share a screen. And if any of you guys don't know, we are the critics of Rotten Tomato.
My name is Maria.
My name is Nevaeh.
My name is Valente.
My name's Raymond. So today we'll be talking about The Interview.
That's a cool picture.
So fun facts about the movie The Interview was the budget that overall the movie spent was $44 million, which was a very big deal breaker because really when it hit theaters for the short period of time it did, it only made $15 million. And so it kind of was a downbreaker for all of the cast. And really, if you guys really don't know, a fun fact about Kim Jong-un, he really does like Katy Perry, which is very weird. This movie stars Seth Rogen, James Franco, Emma Stone, Roland Park, and Lizzie Camplin. And so to talk about the movie a bit, what was your guys' favorite moments?
My favorite moment was like the beginning of it where James Franco, the character for Dave Skylark, is interviewing Eminem on his celebrity talk show. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. I think my favorite moment of the movie was that as well. And then it was also when they gave him a cute puppy. I literally fell in love with that puppy. It was so cute.
My favorite part is when they blew him up in the airplane.
That was everyone's favorite part.
Yeah, his face went everywhere.
My favorite part was when Aaron met that Chinese or the Korean lady. That thing was the
love of his life.
They literally fell in love in like matters of seconds. I thought that was hilarious. But to move on to the best moments, let's go into a little bit of a more deeper topic. I believe that the important plot about this whole movie, if you guys never seen this movie, it goes on to say that, it was based on obviously Aaron and Dave Skylark. They were celebrating their 1200th episode of Dave Skylark Tonight, and really after when they celebrated that, they were had some of their college buddies there, and when Aaron was talking to some of his college buddies, he really thought that he wasn't they didn't think he was a real journalist, and that he was just interviewing people for dumb things, things that don't matter. And so that really kind of made Aaron kind of mad, and he felt like he wasn't a good journalist until Dave actually saw online that he had a special fan, which was Kim Jong-un. So they tried to schedule an interview with him, and they did. In that meantime, the U.S. wanted them to kill Kim Jong-un for the U.S. because of how his dictatorship was, and they were afraid that he was going to strike the U.S. or the world into a nuclear war. So that was really the plot of the movie. And I believe that the theme of the movie overall was, I believe that, like, even though people may talk bad about you, overall, it really just matters of what matters,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I just feel like that was overall the theme of the movie, and I mean, it really just spoke to me in a way.
Yeah, I think it does bring that out, like where you sometimes may not feel like you are a winner, no matter what, just depends what you think. So I pretty much agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about anyone else? Do you feel like the theme of the movie was kind of what I was trying to, explain, or do you guys think there was a different theme in this movie?
No, I feel like they were both trying to prove everyone wrong about their opinions that was being formed about them. Like they were basically being seen as weak interviewers, and like Dave was seen as a weak a showcaster, and so was Aaron. He was being seen as a weak journalist, and I feel like they know that this important interview was just going to prove everyone wrong. And I feel like that's an important thing in life, is like don't think about others' opinions and don't think that like defines you. Just whatever you think of yourself matters. So I think that you worded it very perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, like, I mean, this movie was great, but like, do you guys think it was kind of hard to kind of find like a theme to it, just because of how, like, it's a comedy and it's dark humor, so really, like it was to me, it was kind of
Very
hard to find
political.
a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay,
I really just
onto a
find
very
it
serious note. Who's a better duo?
I would say Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are hilarious in every comedy.
So would I.
right.
Yeah, those guys are funny.
Yeah,
I
what
would
was
have to say Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum as well.
Well, for me, I mean, to be honest, I feel like Seth Rogen and James Franco have very funny like movies overall, and so is Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. But I really think Seth Rogen and James Franco, just because they made like the movie This Is the End. That movie was hilarious. I don't know if you guys ever seen that, but like Seth Rogen is more like like the dark humor or like dirty humor and stuff like that. Like I don't know. To be honest, I feel like that type of the movie, right? Movies that Seth Rogen is making are going to be like the future of future movies in the future.
Well, the movies that Channing Tatum made also as well, like Step Up and everything, the movies that he took part in, or like any movie that he took part in, are still being watched till this day.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's like really well known around everywhere.
Mhm.
So it's not really a competition when it comes to Channing Tatum.
Yeah, they made a lot of money with their movie, even though it was like dark humor. I think it's this one the picture has where what is it called? What is this movie called?
With Channing Tatum,
Yeah, they start like
it's 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So like there's some dark humor in there, but it's not as bad as Seth Rogen and James Franco, where it had to be shut down.
I know.
The same.
Yeah. Well, like talking about that, like being shut down, did you guys know that the reason why the interview was stopped, like being like able to watch it in movie theaters, because it actually like brought up controversial threats by actual like North Korea because of this movie?
Yeah, they were threatening Obama, no? Because
Yeah,
Obama let them like stream the movie, and they wanted everyone to watch it, and Korean just felt threatened by it. And like, yeah.
Yeah. That's why Obama said, just don't be scared. Let's put it out there. They should have put it out there.
Obama was not scared.
When he said put it in theaters, they didn't want to put it, so they should have.
yeah. Okay. Well, since we'll go through that, let's little talk about more about the theme.
When it comes to the theme about how you said that the fact that even though people may not think you're a winner, but in the end, it just depends on what you think of yourself. That theme was really showcased in the film, especially when Dave was being doubted by people around him, and how they were saying like, oh, you're a weak interviewer, you're not even all that. And then he even went to go on to interview Kim Jong-un, and he felt like this was a really big thing for him. Like this was really important. And even though he was putting himself into danger and knowing that he can the Kim Jong-un can even kill him, he still wanted to prove himself and make everyone know that they were wrong about saying that about him. And then another thing that you have brought up was that even if you have a hard upbringing, you are sure to conquer greatness in life. I felt like that was really showcased in the film when Dave and Aaron were having a hard time when it came to their show. And then they had like a rocky start. But again, when they did that interview, they were seen as heroes in the end because once they killed like Kim Jong-un, who was seen as like the villain to America, they were seen as heroes. So I felt like, yeah. And then the third thing was even if your friends or people on social media think you failed in life, make sure to always remember what you accomplished. And that leads on to when Dave was announcing that he was going to have the interview with Kim Jong-un. All of social media and all of America was basically doubting him, saying like, you know, you're not going to be professional about it. You're just here to make a joke about it, like who you do with every interview. But after the interview, they know that he was a professional and they now seen him differently. And so I felt like all those things were perfect and were worded perfectly. And yeah, that's just where it was showcased in the film.
Yeah, to add on to that too, like you said on question two, like it says, even if you had a hard upbringing, you are sure to conquer greatness in life. I feel like not only like you presented right there, it showcases when you know how like Kim Jong Un and Dave built a connection on of how they felt with their father and how their father wasn't there for them, and that's how they connected together. And I feel like that's what maybe like their upbringing was like, having a very hard childhood and making it into becoming famous or a dictator in North Korea. Like it could be shown like even though they had a bumpy road in the beginning, they were still conquering great things by obviously like Dave getting a interview with Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un being a dictator and managing a country, but I mean not a good dictator, but he still made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, overall, what the information, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, that all that we talked about, what do you guys think that you guys, learned?
For me, I think that all the information that I'm getting from our slides, it means that the future of entertainment can lead to a more dark comedy like this. Like we did realize that, it got shut down and it wasn't something that, made a lot of money, but the fact that it was just even put out there compared to like back then where movies like this were not even something that people would think of putting into like the TV. Um, and the fact that it got approved, maybe we can end up leading to a more dark comedy movies like this if this is something that that people want to see.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it wasn't like this film wasn't just seen as like dark humor or like any other film that's like comedy. I feel like it was the way I was seeing it, it was that it was very political. Like this was even seen in like the real world, how North Korea was actually having tension with America. And that's why they were having issues even putting this movie on to Americans to see. So that's how I saw it. I didn't really see it as just any comedy film. I saw it as like what the world was actually going through at this time.
True.
Yeah.
What about you, Valente? What do you think?
I didn't tell you the truth. I didn't even like it at all.
It
It wasn't interesting to me at all. It was like,
Really?
yeah, it was like, I don't know, something that I guess didn't attract my attention. So, yeah, I don't really like it.
Yeah,
Huh?
I was gonna say, kind of. I mean, I understand. Maybe it's just like this movie was kind of just a little too, different, or something you might not be used to, or something. Like honestly, to be honest, like Nevaeh said, it was a lot about politics. To be honest, like it was very political.
Yeah, it was. So like, no wonder it didn't make
it.
Wow.
And some of the humor was not really, funny in a way. Sometimes at times it was
You
just
laughing at
like,
the movie?
yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
had some funny parts, but not a lot.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, without the like an analysis, all like the stuff that was presented, I feel like throughout the information that is like the 20th century, like the comedy, like this was a movie that came out in like the late 2010s, and like I believe a lot of this, like this movie itself, actually built like the open doors for how much like a movie production can go through. Like they literally targeted Kim Jong Un, a dictator that we are enemies with or trying to be friendly now. Like
Yeah.
they were trying to threaten that. It just goes to show what the movie industry is capable of doing, and is not scared of like doing things like this to like target countries like this.
Yeah. I feel like they were testing the waters to see what they can get away with, and then, and to see like how far they can like entertain the people, and to see like if it's something different that they might like.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if it wouldn't have been shut down or like, stopped, then it would have made it, I'm pretty sure it would have made more money because, people are into that type of humor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Agreed.
it's just the politics that just kind of messed it up. The evaluation of the interview, I did notice that it was dark humor oriented. There was like scenes that were like comedy that were like dark. The film industry accommodates to what the fan wants. And in the book, Media and Culture, it says it is likely that we will continue to see an increase in youth-oriented animated action movies from page 226. So I feel like movies like the movie where people are just making stunts and they're just hurting themselves and stuff like that. That is actually in the movies right now. So it feels like the film industry is going to continue to accommodate that type of humor and make these kind of movies because it is youth oriented. And I feel like the film was more pop culture than art because it was easy to follow. It was we were able to understand the concept of it, and it entertained the crowd. Like people who are into that type of comedy. Roundas is a movie critic, and he stated that the interview, an alleged satire that's about as funny as a communist food shortage. So they were just kind of going into the politics. So some critics did like this type of humor, and it feels like in the future they're going to continue to make movies like this and test the waters to see what they can get away with playing and stuff like that, just to entertain the people.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, well, it's like to add on to that too. Like you said, like it was like a piece of, like you said, it wasn't really like a piece of art. It was more up into like the pop culture. But to be honest, like I feel like a lot of what it had to, all of the pictures that were presented, I really think it was a piece of art, like a type of movie, just because of what it was presenting and the extent that they did, like actually using soldiers of Korean soldiers, and and having like the beautiful house that Kim Jong-un was living in. I believe it was a work of art other than the pop culture. But maybe just because I was more interested into this movie, and like me being a Rotten Tomato critic, I would give this a 9 out of 10 movie. But I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think overall? What would you guys rate this movie?
I would say 3 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, me too.
I would give it like a 9 out of 10 as well, because I don't know, like I said, it wasn't seen as any other comedy. Like it actually gave real facts about like what was going on in the world, since it was so political. And they gave like fun facts about Kim Jong-un in the movie. He actually like called Katy Perry. So I don't know. I was interested in the
The
movie.
night, the light.
Someone play the song, guys. Yeah, I thought it was funny and I thought it was political, and yeah, 9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
Well, to move on, let's go to the Critics Bazaar.
All right. I did not like the movie, although it was funny at times. It was a movie that did not attract my attention. I feel too strongly about the seriousness of North Korea's issues to even fully enjoy the humor in it. But did it still want to see Kim Jong Un be assassinated? After he was, I smiled for a brief moment. That the country would be like without him in power. I would not watch this movie again, nor would I recommend it to anyone.
Oh,
Wow, that hurts my heart, guys.
you really didn't like the movie.
I was like, no wonder I remember I stopped watching it last time.
Wow.
I seen it, but I didn't finish it. I was like, now I remember why. Yeah, so that's what I thought.
Well, it was good to hear everybody's opinions. I mean, it's not bad to not like a movie for sure.
Yeah, everyone shares
Yeah.
different opinions of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember actually like looking it up more thoroughly in like the actual critics of Rotten Tomato. They actually rated this movie 85% out of 100. So really like honestly, I feel like it just depends on really who watches it. Like you said, like, like me and Nevaeh kind of liked it more than you guys did. Cause maybe, I'm into more of the dirty humor, dark humor type movies. Maybe that's not your type of, bread and butter when it comes to movie,
Yeah.
It had some good parts.
The puppy.
Oh yeah, that puppy when he fell in love with it. What I
And
thought
then-
was cool too is that they what's it called? Staged their I thought that was kind of cool that they were staging their what was it? Their interviews, you know how they had the stores and they staged like all the fake food and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was kind of like I was like, what the hell? Who would do that? Stage something like that for the
Yeah.
people to think that it was real, but it was never real.
I know.
Yeah. And then do you guys think like, with the whole COVID situation, that movies are going to be able to, get away with a little bit more and make more money now that instead of going to the movie theaters, we just end up like seeing them play it on like, say Disney Plus first before anything. So imagine like how in the era right now, if that movie was to have aired, I think it would have been making more money because it would have got away with just being bought and played at the homes of since they shut down the movie theater.
Mhm.
So it's just crazy to see in the future, like maybe how many movies are just gonna play like this and are gonna be able to make the money for people who are into this humor.
Yeah, true, because people would be curious to want to watch it after they see if it's good or not. And that's true.
Well, there's certain movies that just they don't even care about being like shown in the movie theaters first. They just go straight to being shown on like Paramount or like Hulu, and it goes straight to those platforms.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to add on to that too, like you guys said, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the Scorpion movie, but that wasn't even on like theater because of COVID. And like really, like I feel like it would have been the same for like that one. Like not only that, but Space Jam was on HBO Max. A lot of movies, actually were aired on like platforms other than like the theater. So really, I felt like there would have been a way to watch the movie in COVID, like just like these movies that we're being able to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good job, everybody, with the presentation. I feel like we gave a good criticism to the movie, and there was, opposing sides, but that's a good thing because, we all have different opinions of movies, but we gave it a chance.
Yes, we did.
We'll all agree to disagree.
Yeah, we did.
Well, just like Dave Skylark said, this is Dave Skylark signing off.
Don't forget to subscribe.